Welcome back to the Guest List Podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the TGL Squad. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jared. This month, we're going to be talking about how important music is to us and the different ways that music has impacted our lives.
Now, I've spent over a year telling stories and talking about many of my favorite artists on this podcast. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some new and never before heard stories. But there are just some artists I wouldn't be able to not talk about in an episode detailing the music that has shaped us. And I'm excited to celebrate and reflect on that music today and hear your stories too, Jared.
Sounds like we got a lot to cover today, so let's get right into it. All right, so I don't know about you, Sarah, but I have like a specific time that like music became important to me in my life. And I know that that is the Pink Friday album by Nicki Minaj. And I know that that sounds a little bit like maybe it sounds a little bit weird to some people because I was like in second grade when I discovered this album. I don't maybe not second, but it was in my elementary school days. I know that.
I'm
And
picturing little you right now.
no, like literally, I can't even tell you, like my family literally has videos of me rapping Nicki Minaj because I was obsessed with her. And it
Wait,
was
can
my
we find
first,
one and put it in? Can we
oh,
please?
absolutely.
Oh
I
my
will.
God, guys,
Felicia,
get ready.
Felicia has it somewhere. I
Oh my,
literally sang it at but Felicia's Sweet 16. Oh, yeah, and she's 6 years older than me, so I was like 10. So at my sister's Sweet 16, I literally sang a Nicki Minaj song for her because I was obsessed with her and I couldn't think of like any other song that would like relate to my life besides Nicki Minaj because she was my life. Um,
I
but
cannot
I
wait for
remember,
everybody to see this video. Oh my God.
but I remember this album being the first one that I would listen to like in full, and she was the first artist that I would like put on my iPod and listen to on like my mom's phone, and like when I pulled up my iPad, like that was what I wanted to watch was like Nicki Minaj. And like if I want to listen to music, oh Nicki Minaj. Like and I remember I needed to learn every lyric. And to this day, like it's so deeply ingrained in my head. Like you could put on any Pink Friday song and I will know it. Like I like genuinely pick anyone. I got it. Like and um
Acapella, go.
oh, you have to pick a song. You have to pick a song.
Oh God. Okay. Keep
Yeah.
talking. I'll look for one.
Oh, you're gonna look for no, you have to know a Pink Friday. You know a Pink Friday song.
I'm sure I do, but my brain is being silly today, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. So feel free to keep talking,
Um,
and I will choose one. Of
so I just remember learning every lyric, like I said, and I just remember like she she herself embodies this confidence and like this aura of like you can't touch me. Like you you can't mess with my mind, you can't mess with my like confidence. You like I'm that girl. Like that's she exudes that. And I remember feeling that every time I listened to her music. And it helped me discover my inner confidence and like how to bring that out. And whenever I just remember anytime things got tough, growing up as like, a gay kid in a community where there were no gay kids and you didn't know what that was. And so people picked on you all the time. It just like you needed that inner confidence or else everybody else around you was going to break you down. So I remember putting in Nicki Minaj and I'd be like, no, I'm that girl. Like, like, no, like, I don't care what you say. Like, I'm still that girl. Like, so don't play with me. And to this day, if I, if life's getting me down and I need somebody to pick me up, I go back to Pink Friday. Trust. Like to this day, like I go back to Pink Friday and I, I will remember that confidence that I put on when I thought things were at their worst. And you know it just reminds me that things are never really at their worst and you can always find that confidence again no matter what point in your life you're at. So that's like when I first realized that music was really important to me and it had more of a meaning than just, oh, I just put on some music, so just I love that. But yeah, did you pick your Pink Friday song?
I did, and that's actually really crazy that you brought up like that inner confidence
Yeah.
because there is a song on Pink Friday that I made my alarm on competition day.
Yeah. Yes, I love
That
hearing that. I
song
didn't even know that.
and that song is Fly.
Oh, I came to win, to
But
fight, to conquer, to thrive. I can't. That's Rihanna's part though. So
yeah, but
Nicki
like
Minaj's part though, she goes, "I wish today it would rain all day. Maybe that would kind of make the pain go away. Trying to forgive you for abandoning me. Praying, but I think I'm still an angel away. Wait, wait. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I got it. Yeah. So trust.
But that's like so crazy that like I didn't think of that off the top of my head because that song off of the album that you just said is, when you realized you loved music. You know, again, just another example of how, you know, music has impacted us as like best friends and all this throughout because we're so closely ingrained that even though I couldn't think of it off the top of my head, there was still a song on the album that kind of changed your perspective on music that impacted me in a very similar, extremely empathetical way.
Yeah. Um.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I think that Nicki Minaj in general, like I said, just like she exudes that. So anytime that you listen to her, like that's the vibe that you're gonna get. Like whether
Hmm.
you need a pickup for sports, you need a pickup for life, you need a pickup for, like you're nervous, literally whatever. Like I suggest put on a Nicki Minaj song because even Fly, like I said, you know,
Hmm.
that is that's a really good one too, though. Oh, I love her. I just love her. But yeah, the first one that I remembered was Roman's Revenge, and that's like the like a Dungeon Dragon. If you know
Yeah.
that one, you know that one.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it's like like a Dungeon Dragon. I say and actually, what's crazy is it blew up on TikTok recently.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was the what part was it? The is this the thanks that I get for putting you on?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
my
yes.
fault that all of you gone? Should have said the thank you note, you little. Now I'm gonna wrap your coffin with a bone. Nikki, she just mad because you took the spot. Well, word that mad because you took the spot. Well, if you ain't, then get off the pot. That'll book and
I'm
that'll off your
screaming.
top. I hear the mumbling, I hear the cackling, I got them scared, shook, panicking, overseas church, Vatican, you gotta stand still, mannequin. You wanna sleep on me overnight? I'm the mother boss. Oh, right. And when I pull up vroom, motorbike, now I'm not getting buck, overbite. So also,
Wow, the censoring goes crazy.
oh my God, yo, I know,
The
because
censoring goes crazy.
also, okay, well, if you don't know, when you grow up in cheer, you can't play explicit songs in the venue. So I had to grow up and learn all my favorite songs without any curse words in it, and then just like curse them later. But I think another thing that I love about Nicki Minaj as I started to grow up, because I didn't like my reading and writing side that like again we mention all the time about me, but my reading and writing side, I love poetry and I love what? Oh,
What's your
my
voice?
bookstagram? Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so JAREDREADS, Jared Reads. No, but for real, I've written a lot of poems recently because of just life, recent events. It's been a stressful time for a lot of people. And so that in turn, creates a lot of creative expression. So I've written a lot of poems. And I think that in poems you have a lot of wordplay. So like in
Very
that
similar to
that
some lyrics.
yeah, very similar to song lyrics. And I think that Nicki Minaj is one of the best people to ever do wordplay. Like the verse that I just spit 2 seconds ago, um, she literally goes,
Very well, might I add.
"Thank you," right? So she goes, um, "What was it? Oh, you want to sleep on me overnight? I'm the boss. Override. And when I pull up vroom motorbike, now I'm not getting buck overbite. Like she's talking about buck teeth, but like she's talking about you trying to get buck, like you're trying to fight. But like and it like works both ways. And she'll come up with it on the spot too. Like if you watch any of her interviews and they ask her to like spit a rhyme, she does that wordplay like off off the
Off the
dome.
top.
And I'm like,
I love
what?
that for us.
I'm literally like, literally what? How do you even think of that? And it's so crazy. But yeah.
That's awesome. And, just going back to the inner confidence stuff, there is a girl group that I listen to this day, um,
Yup.
Little Mix.
Love
They
them.
are like I'll put on Salute, I'll put on like DNA, and I feel like a baddie. And I love them so much. Like I love them so much. Still to this day, they are my favorite girl group. And they made such a huge impact on me and like the female artists that I loved during a time when all of my tween idols were the early 2010s pop boys,
Yeah.
Justins, the Austins, the Codys,
Yeah.
of course, the One Direction boys.
Yeah. I think they
And
came in
in
at
case y'all don't know who I'm talking about, like Bieber, Mahone, Simpson, like,
right. I
hmm
think that they came in also at a perfect time, just like in the world. Like the world really
yes,
needed it was like getting dominated by like boy bands and boy
yup.
pop stars. And like they came in and they were like, no, like we're a girl group and we're gonna be a hit. Like
They're
trust.
and they were incredible, and also like all their like unique and personal styles were so cute.
Yeah.
Like I have this one memory. I actually got to meet them at a CD signing at I think it was like the big mall down by where I live. And I remember this so vividly. I think it was maybe 2014, but I know it was like a Memorial Day weekend
I w-
sometime during their
that's so good.
main era. And I think that Perry was dressed as a fairy. And I
Period.
think they had purple hair at the time. And like they all were just like so cute and like wonderful. And
Yeah.
honestly, like that was one of the greatest days of my life at that CD signing. And I always thought that they deserved so much more popularity here in the States. So I am gutted that I never got to see them perform live because that is something I really would have loved that. And,
Yeah.
you know, at the same time, though, it's really cool to see them doing their own things because, you see the boy bands break up all the time and you see, you know, s- the girl group, like everybody goes and does their own thing and that's okay. But I
Yeah.
think they're actually doing their solo projects really, really well.
Yeah.
Along with Carrie and Leanne being moms too. So like it's
Yeah.
just cool to see them being successful in their post-group careers as well as being in motherhood and just
Yeah.
up to them as women. Women. We like I just can't.
Yeah.
And they're fantastic and I have I haven't really taken an opportunity to ramble about them on this podcast yet, and I'm glad I'm getting to do so now. So this is a really important episode for us. And I just, to this day, I
Yeah.
will put on a little mix bop and just let them out. Like,
Yeah.
getting ready on my hype up playlist. Like I just love it.
Yeah. I love that too. And I think that confidence is just a like a super strong tie to music for people in general, even people who don't listen to music. A lot of people, they're like, I need to get hyped up. Their first instinct is like, put on a good song.
Yup.
Even people who don't like have that deep and like personal connection to music like we do, and they just listen to it casually, like they know if you need to get hyped up, you put on that song. And everybody has that like one song that really like gets them going. Like everybody knows they have that one hype song, even if it changes over time. Like there's that one song that gets you going, and whatever that is, I'm like, you go, girl, put that on. Like
Yeah.
so I think that that's
What's
and I
what's yours right now?
right now,
Hmm.
can I be honest with you guys?
This podcast is all about honesty. You can be an open book here.
I have been listening to nothing but depressing music. So I don't know what it is, but I don't even like I don't oh, I know actually what it is. Okay. Okay,
Okay, good.
period. So Sticky by Tyler the Creator. He just
Okay.
came out with a new album. Um and it's him, Lil Wayne, Glorilla, and Sexy Red all on one track.
That's
And I
cool.
personally think that this is the best four-way music creation since Only.
Oh wow.
Like, I was like, I'm listening to that, and every time I'm like, yes, yes, yeah. But that literally is the only song that's got me hype in the past like year. I literally like I don't know what it is, but
I mean, hey, as long as it's getting your juices flowing and you're just,
you
getting
know,
like,
yeah. Everything else, like I get hyped with like my team when we're like getting
oh
ready
yeah.
to, but they put on the songs. Like it hasn't ever really been like my own personal like, yeah, like let me get hyped. Um, but now this song, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this. That or you might have to bleep this, but "Stupid Ho" by Nicki Minaj. I love that
I mean,
song.
hey, you know what? We are not a podcast for kids, so
That song, that song is gonna get me every time. But that's also by Nicki Minaj. So,
I mean, hey, I'm sensing
so
a theme here.
again,
Right,
my
exactly.
answer is put on any Nicki Minaj song and I'm gonna get hyped.
There
So,
you go.
uh,
I feel like for me, it's not like the most recent song, but right now I'm really liking Chrome Hearted by Jaden Hossler.
period. Don't know what that is, but yeah,
I'll send it to you later.
yeah, do that. I want to listen to it
It's
now.
so fun.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
but specifically by Little Mix,
Okay, tell
I
me
think
yes.
of. Can I do a fact check real quick, actually? Because let me make sure this is by the.
Oh my God. Imagine it's by like a Fifth Harmony. I'd be like, are you kidding
Okay,
me?
it is. Okay. Black Magic by
Yes!
Little Mix. I'm like, I got the
Oh,
recipe and it's
I love
all
it so
black
much.
magic. The one that I was thinking of actually by Fifth Harmony, that gets me hype, but I knew this was by Fifth Harmony, is
Okay.
Work.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like, you don't
That
gotta go to
that
work. Hey,
song
work.
involuntarily gets stuck in my head at the most random times. And now that you've started singing it, it's gonna be in my head
Yes, I and
tonight.
all the
And I
time
have
I'm
to
like,
be at work at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow, and I'm gonna be trying to go to bed. I'm gonna be like, work, work,
every
work.
time I'm like, you ain't gotta go to work. That's me on the way to work. I'm like, you don't gotta go to work, but I do have to go to work. Like it's crazy. I'm like, we can work from home.
I'm
Yeah, yeah. And that's Camila Cabello right there. Trust.
I'm
I think. I think that's her part. The you can work from home.
yeah, I haven't actually heard the song in a while, but I'm sure.
I literally think I'm making stuff up at this point. But
Okay.
but
Okay.
um to you know another point about your like specific connection to music is part of what made them so special to you was meeting them
Yeah.
and like
A lot
getting
of a
to
lot of the artists that mean a lot to me. I've been very fortunate to have been able to interact with them mostly in person. So like many of
yeah
my favorite artists, I have just fantastic memories that involve them and that I've gotten to tell them how much they mean to me as an artist, as
right
people.
yeah
So I've been
yeah
very fortunate with that, and I hope that everybody gets to experience that with their favorite artists.
yeah and I mean I wanted to do that with a bunch of different artists of my life, but for some reason, every time that like I get to know them, it's like they're like, okay, they're like starting to rise. And then like when I actually like invest and get into their music, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to a concert. Then it's like, oh, everybody wants to meet them now. And now
Right.
they're not doing meet and greets, which also, can we talk about that? Nobody does meet and greets no more.
I mean, I know a few.
I don't.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
it's because my artists are like right now, all the artists that I specifically love and have a connection to right now are big ones. So like
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, I mean she's filming Wicked, so she's definitely not
Right,
doing no meet and
exactly.
greets. But like I've I've never heard of like an Ariana Grande meet and greet, like or
Right.
like
And those
a
did
Billie
happen back in
Eilish
the
meet and
day.
greet, like
Yeah.
a SZA meet and greet. I have like, but I feel like ever maybe it's a COVID thing, but like
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people stopped doing like those types of interactions because of COVID. I know here we go talking about Taylor Swift again. I know that at tours prior to the Eras tour, for example, the Reputation Stadium tour, she had the Rep Room, and now she doesn't. Obviously, she has the 22 hat moment where she'll have, typically a younger fan come up and she'll gift them the hat that she's wearing on stage, which is a really great way to make fan interaction happen while she's not doing, the meet and greets that she used to do or other types of interactions like the secret sessions because, just Taylor Swift in general, for security reasons, she can't
Yeah.
be inviting people to her residences anymore.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But, that is something that she used to do, and that is something that people do at the start of their careers to build
Yeah.
that build, those relationships. And there
Yeah.
are some bigger artists who continue to do that, continue to do the meet and greets and build those relationships. And, when it does happen, it is really special. But, I also completely understand when people don't do it.
Yeah, for sure. I also totally get it,
Yeah.
especially in a post-COVID world. Like,
But
and
definitely we're gonna get you into some smaller artists who are gonna do meet and greet, and we're gonna
yeah,
we're gonna start building your artist relation,
yeah, yeah.
which is, so if you have any in mind, let me know.
I think also just, well, maybe
Well,
this is
I
another
know, I know, I know some of them. We've talked about them.
maybe this is another hot take, but maybe I'm the controversial host of this podcast. But
Let's hear it. What
the well, I don't think this is going to be a hot take. I think everybody's going to agree. But the ticket pricing these days, the
Ooh,
fact that it is,
that would be a whole separate podcast episode. We do
and I
not
don't want to
have
call
time
any, yeah, and I don't want to call anybody out because
to.
most of it is the resale.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is the resale. However, why
Yeah.
why do we feel the need to charge so much for a
On
ticket to your concert?
specifically retail prices, but also there are some who I've looked at, the official
I
price,
mean,
and I'm like, I don't think I could swing that. I would love to see you, but
correct. And I listen, there's some I would sell my soul to go see.
hmm
Okay. There's some like that, but there's also some where it's like, okay, not worth it, which
right.
like
Like,
is
would it be
totally
worth it
okay.
to see the artist? Yes, but it's not worth some of the prices. And I get that too. And
Correct.
also just on this same topic, because now you've got my wheels turning here.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'm not gonna say like it used to be they would announce a tour, they would announce like, oh, the pre-sale is in 2 months, the pre-sale is in, whatever, general on sale is gonna happen. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times, especially for like early tours for like the upcoming year, it would be
Yeah.
right before holidays so that people could get tickets as holiday gifts. And
Yeah.
that's been some of my favorite holiday gifts, which we'll talk about the holidays in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
some of my favorite birthday gifts, holiday gifts have been tickets to see my favorite artists. And I'm very fortunate that my parents would give me those tickets as gifts. But nowadays it's like, oh hey, I'm announcing my tour and the on sale's on Friday in 4 days. Like,
L- Literally. And I'm like, pricing has gotten crazy. So the
right,
fact that you think I could just buy one in 4 days instead of having to, like, your tickets are $400 to go to your pit.
right.
Why are you telling me with 2 days advance when you know that people are gonna have to save up for $400 tickets, especially if they're going with someone or trying to gift it to somebody else?
Exactly.
So, um, I think that that's another big reason why we don't really do meet and greets because I think I think the
Because it
artists
is an
know.
add-on. It's either included in the ticket, which makes the ticket more expensive than
Yeah,
it already is, or it's an add-on. And
yeah,
there are artists, smaller artists, that have done this very well. And
yeah,
I have appreciated seeing that coming from smaller artists where they'll either have the VIP included in the ticket or like have the
yeah.
ticket included in that VIP package and it's, a reasonable price.
Right.
I have a few people coming to mind right now as I say that. Like there
Yeah,
are there are a few artists that immediately are
yeah,
coming to mind for me that have done VIPs with the meet and greet and have had the ticket included in that package, and it was very reasonably priced for who they are, the venues that they're playing, and but there are some where I'm like, I would really love to go to the show. The ticket is expensive enough as it is. I would love to meet this artist. However,
yeah,
that price is astronomical.
yeah.
You know,
Like,
you can value yourself very highly, you know.
Yeah,
Like obviously if
yeah,
you're a talented artist who has a big fault, like, you know, and I'm not, and at this point, I'm not thinking of anybody in particular when I'm saying this.
yeah,
I'm just talking in general. Like, there is nobody coming to my mind for that.
yeah.
Yeah, I will admit, I have bought some expensive VIP packages for certain artists, but
Me
at the end
too.
of the day, those are kind of my top artists who I've kind of waited forever to meet. You know,
Yes.
like, you know, I've never, like, either I never had the opportunity before, or like, I know that they're about to get even bigger than they already are. So
Yeah.
I definitely am taking advantage of what that value is now.
Yeah. I definitely understand that too. And I mean, I've spent I've spent a pretty penny on some tickets too.
Yeah,
So especially if I want to go get in the pit. So
right.
and then
Like, I'm gonna be in
also
the pit, except sometimes the pit is not great for short girlies like me.
the pit,
Pits can be scary when you're my size.
I've also gone to like pit only
Mhm.
concerts.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
I've done
duh. But
many of
like
them.
those, I think those are a great option for like smaller artists, and I
Oh
love
yeah.
that. Um, but I feel like they're so expensive, these pit tickets in general, when you're
Right.
talking about like a concert venue.
Oh yeah.
When oh my finger. When you're talking about like a concert venue, just like in general, and like the pit is like you want to get down there instead of like a nosebleed. I'm not talking about the all
Oh
pit.
no.
But when you price those so high, and then also you think about what they're worth in general because of, I have to take a day off of work because I want to see this person so bad, and I bought a pit ticket, and nobody
So
wants
you
a
gotta be at the front of the line to be in the
right,
front of
nobody
the
wants
pit.
a bad seat or
You want to be
bad
a
spot.
barricade baddie.
Right. You need to be at the barricade. So you need to take off the day of work, and you need to go sit all day in the cold to go see your favorite artists.
Or really hot if it's summer, because I've done that too. And they're
Yeah. And then
both
you find out that they're doing like a line saving system. But then, so, you mark your hand, and then you go to like the food court, and then you walk outside, and then nobody's in the line anymore. And then you walk to the entrance, and you end up being the last person in line.
right.
So, like that,
I feel like you're
that
speaking
sounds
from
very
personal
specific.
experience there.
I don't know. Yeah, that sounds very specific. I don't know who might have experienced that,
I'm screaming.
but they got to the barricade anyway. So, period. I know I did.
Yes, you should.
I would. I was literally when I tell you I was third in line at that concert.
Wait, who was
Third,
for?
third to last. Third to last. I can talk about it a little bit later. But like I was third to last
Okay.
in that line.
Oh,
For some reason, when they got in there, everybody who was waiting for the pit decided they were going to go get merch and food and drinks first.
right.
And
Because
I said,
you kind of get like early entry as
but
pit.
I said, are
Right.
y'all okay? I looked at the stage. I said, y'all, the stage is right there. And y'all are going to get drinks?
I'm screaming.
You're crazy. I'm going to the barricade.
As you should.
And so I did. But as the third to last person in line, and I was like, that's crazy that y'all are just giving up that spot like that. Like,
Right. As if they didn't wait like all day.
I'm saying, like, I was like, y'all were literally camped out there last night when I was in bed. What, like,
Right.
you're crazy. But, no, okay, back to like, the original point that I had, I think that like a big connection for you in this scenario was that you got to meet the artist. And I have never gotten to meet an artist that I've wanted to meet before, but I have gotten to meet a Broadway star,
Oh my gosh.
or maybe not star, but
Oh my
like
God.
I got to meet the lead in the Bring It On musical
Oh my God. I
when
love
I went to go see Bring It On.
yeah.
And
We've definitely talked about Broadway on the podcast before, and we've
yeah,
talked about this show, but it is such like a big deal, especially for
yeah,
you. No.
yeah, and it was like, um, I went to go just to see Bring It On. I was like, oh my god, Bring It
Yeah.
On. It combined the two things that I loved. It was cheerleading and music, and I was like, we got a play. I was like, I've been in a play before. Let's go see it. Perfect.
Let's
I was
go.
like, I can't wait. It ended up being one of the best things ever for me to experience. And it also made me fall in love with musical theater. And then I just like fell down this like rabbit hole. I lived in New York for most of my life. So I was like, I'm gonna just go to Broadway whenever
Move
I
away
want to go
from
see a show. So like I fell in love with like shows like Dear Evan Hansen, Wicked, Phantom of the Opera. There's so many more, but oh, Mean Girls, Heathers, so many that I literally like I can't even think of um that I wanted to see, that I listened to the whole soundtrack, just
Oh yeah.
imagining like I was there. I went to go see um Beetlejuice comes to mind. Oh my god. I'm like they're gonna keep popping in my head
No.
randomly. But like,
That's the one show that I really regret not seeing. Beetlejuice.
yeah, me too. I was gonna oh my god, I was in New York
Especially
City.
especially with Alex Brightman. Like
Yeah, yes. Oh my god, he was so good. And I
I feel like
wanted
I've watched the entire show on TikTok just because it was shown so much, especially during like COVID times, like
yeah, yeah.
what was
And
on my
so
For You page. And I was like, wow, he's so good. And then I just never got to see it. So that is one Broadway regret that I have.
yeah, I have a few Broadway regrets because I just I really I mean some are just I was too young to go see it.
Yeah.
Like when like the original stars were on. I mean when Wicked first came out, like I didn't even know, what musical theater was. So
Right.
I couldn't go see that with like the original with Kristen and Adina Menzel. So like I I would have loved to now looking
Right.
back, but I couldn't,
Yeah.
so I didn't even know what that was. But I just fell in love with musical theater right then and there. I was like, oh my God, they're putting on a show and they're like telling a story through music. And I thought it was so beautiful. And I was like, wow, this is what music coming to life looks like. And now I'll go in my car and I'll put on a musical theater
Oh
track
my, I love
list.
that.
Trust. Like I will. Like absolutely, and I'll sing it like I'm on and I'll put in my AirPods. I will literally lip sync or even sing, depending on if I'm in public or not. Like I am the Broadway star. Like
You
I
should.
love it so much. And after the show, we walk out and we just saw them walking out, the two main stars of the play. And my mom was like, "Go ask for a picture. Don't you
Oh,
want a picture?" And I was like, "Duh, I want a picture." I just saw them literally do these crazy flips and tricks and stunts and singing. And I'm
ooh.
like, yeah, I want to be them, let alone I want to take a picture with them. And so I did. And then from there was just like a whole spew of, different things that made me fall in love with music. But mainly it was that connection of like, I I could see what they're talking about and what they're trying to communicate through their music, and I could see it be put to life. And like I talked about this in one of my classes last semester, um, where we were talking about just like musical theater in general and how you can teach it because I'm gonna get an English degree with like an education focus. So
I would
I we were
I
talking
love
about
that for
how
you.
we
Like I
could
love that we're gonna end up having the same degree. I just think
yeah
that's fun.
so true. But I literally like we were talking about it. It was principles of writing instruction, and we were talking about how you could teach musical theater as like literature.
Right.
And I just remember saying that I think that um, or not. I didn't say this. One of my
Mhm.
classmates said it. I don't want to take their credit, but
Oh, of course not.
so they were like music, or sorry, when you're watching a play and the actor or actress starts to sing, that's
Mhm.
because there's so much emotion within that character that they can't speak anymore. And so they have to just switch to song. And it's like just it really like made me rethink what music is as a whole too, because it's like when you can't even put the words to it, like singing can do the job too. Even
Yeah,
though yes, those are words too, but it's like music also has like the tone, the rhythm, there's just so many more elements to it than just like when you talk.
yeah.
So I thought that that was beautiful, and I thought that it really made me connect to musical theater even more. So it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it like that. Like anytime you watch a play, and they go to like transition to that singing part, and you like really think about it, it really is like height of emotion in that
Oh,
character, and then
absolutely.
they start singing like it's so I just found it so amazing. So I
That's
just love
awesome.
just love it, you know.
No, I do too. And I think that's so cool. Like, because it definitely is like, super emotional when the character starts singing. Like, just not to like completely redo your entire little spiel that you just gave. I, you know, I've always loved musical theater. I think I would have been a theater kid if I was not an athlete. So I kind of call
Yes.
myself like a quasi theater kid because, I know the musicals, I know some of the terms. I was taking like acting classes in high school. So,
Yeah, no, same. I was a kid model. I
of course
auditioned
you
for
were.
I auditioned for commercials. I was an extra on movies and TV shows. So
Why have we never talked about this? Because I was also an extra in a movie. Have we actually
yeah,
ever talked about this?
I don't know. Maybe
Oh my
I
God.
thought
Okay,
so. I talk about it
we'll
just in
sidebar. I feel like maybe we've
yeah,
mentioned. I don't remember ever actually
maybe
talking about that.
not like often. I
Wow.
don't talk about it
No,
often in general. So
neither do
yeah,
I. But like again, the fact that our lives have aligned so much.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. No,
I did all that stuff, and I wanted to be an actor so bad. I still would love to do it. I mean, but that's kind of like a if the opportunity strikes,
it's
which
the
like is
opportunity.
unlikely. You know, if it
I mean, hey,
comes,
never say never though.
right. No, if it comes, great. I would love to do it. But yeah, I was an extra on movies and TV shows and
So funny.
commercials and stuff. And I almost was in a magazine for
Oh,
JC Penney, which would have been so cool. But
oh
then
my God.
I couldn't do it because I had a cheer thing. So literally,
Well,
literally,
I
like
think you're pretty happy with the path you chose though.
yes, for sure. I mean, I would
Because I
have
mean,
never.
if neither one of us chose cheer, I don't know where we'd be right now.
No, literally, cheers. I mean,
It would not be on this podcast. That is for sure.
no, for sure. I would be watching this podcast like, who's this girl? But you
And then
know,
you
like,
would be like, oh my God, I have to be her best friend forever.
no, literally, maybe we have to cross. Maybe that's just
We
like
would.
our life
I think
path.
so. Because I mean, it would have either been, eventually maybe in the New York entertainment sphere.
Yeah, no, literally. I mean,
Who knows?
yeah, but I
But you
love.
know what? I agree with that. I think one way or another, we were destined to
Yeah,
cross paths, and you were destined to be stuck with me forever.
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I agree. I think that like it's
Guys,
just like
I'm gonna get mushy because we're filming this, and on the day we're filming this, it's the night before Jared's birthday. So
'twas the night before his 30th birthday.
30th.
Yeah, so
Outstanding.
I have this thing where like I'm turning 23, so I'm basically 25, which means I'm basically 30. So like
Don't do this to me because I'm 25. Don't do this.
no, like I'm basically 25 because I'm turning 23. So I'm basically 30. I just don't I'm like, whatever, I'll accept it. You know,
No,
honestly,
the
to be
worst thing
honest,
ever. Well, not the worst thing, but a really funny thing is, and I think I've told you this before. I have a friend who I visited last summer. She used to live in Connecticut, and when I told her that I was turning 24 last year, she was like, "You're almost 30." I'm like, "Oh God, not yet, please."
that's what I'm saying. Like once you pass 25, like it's over.
Right,
So
but
like
I hadn't even turned 24 yet. I was 23.
yeah, it's I'm telling you, 23, you're basically 25, which means you're basically 30.
No,
And
no.
like that's
We need to
okay.
stop this train of thought.
No, it's okay. I personally can't wait for my 30s. Like I personally want my 30s here now.
Oh
This
God, but
20
if
something
you
life,
want yours here now, that's gonna make mine even
I
sooner.
don't care. I want mine now. I want the job, I want the family, I want the husband, I want the like I this is so off topic, but I literally like I don't want to be like this like college grad that like has to search for a job and doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. So like maybe he's gonna go
Hey,
back to grad
hey, you
school.
know what? Sometimes those things turn out okay.
And sometimes they're scary, even if they
Hey,
turn out
I'm
okay.
gonna tell you they are scary, but
Exactly. And I
they
don't do
turn out
you know
okay.
me, I don't do well with scary. So
I know.
I want like to be
Says
settled.
says horror. Let's roll back to the horror films from last episode. I don't do well with scary either.
That's okay.
Speaking of emotions from, your point to musical theater, and also just like talking about what the musical theater genre in general means to you, there's a genre that I don't talk about a lot, I've definitely mentioned artists such as Kelsey Ballerini who are in the genre. Like y'all know that is my girl. I love her so much. Um, but yeah, I feel like I don't really talk about how much I enjoy country music, which I know can be a little bit of a controversial take. Not even controversial, but you either love it or you hate it. I really,
Yeah,
really enjoy country music. And, I think that country love songs are like even more romantic than pop ballads, and my little rom-com heart is just like what are you making that face for?
that was such a bold claim.
I know.
Usually you're
Oh,
like,
so
you,
maybe I'm the hot take host now.
I know, like literally you're usually like, oh my God, everyone's amazing and everyone's
I mean,
perfect.
don't
And
get me wrong, they
I
are amazing.
love,
Like I don't get me wrong, I love me a good like boy
you're
band
like, I just
or
can't
pop star
decide.
ballad,
Yeah,
but like I love like country love songs.
they're so good. Listen,
Like, look at me. I'm like, even though I have like makeup on, I'm like blushing right now thinking about some of them.
I also agree. I think that like country love songs are some of the most romantic love songs that have ever existed. I think that they are like the way that I don't know, just like the emotion you could feel them is so
Mhm.
beautiful. And I also agree, just like of loving country music in general. I love a lot of country music. I
I
also
feel like that's something we've bonded over many, many times. Like,
yes, I also dislike some country music, but that's
oh,
okay.
oh, there's
Um,
yeah, there's certain
um,
yeah,
but but I love a lot of it, and I
yeah.
mainly love a lot of it because it reminds me of summer, and I think that in general, just like good memories connect me to a lot of music, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that a lot of songs I re-listen to because of like the feeling that it gave me when I first heard it.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
my one of my best friends from New York, her name was Grace.
Oh, I
Not
think I know
was.
Grace.
Her name is Grace.
Oh my
Not
God.
was. She
Yeah,
is okay.
I
She
think
is
I know
alive
Grace.
and
I've
well.
probably
Love
met her at
her.
least once.
Yeah, yeah, I think you did. But so one of my best friends back home in New York, her name is Grace, and she was like the first one to introduce me to country music. She like played it in her Jeep. We were like top down, rolling through the town, and like she was like blasting country music. And at the time, I was like a hater, and I was like, Grace, what is this? Like, why are you doing this to me? And like, she was like, no, I'm telling you, like, it's getting hotter outside. We're putting the top down and I'm blasting country music because it feels like summer. Like, I'm telling you. And I was like, okay, whatever. And she put it on. And like, I remember she played Luke Combs. And I was like, oh, I was like, and she's like, just scream it. Like, just scream the chorus. And I was like, okay. And we screamed it out into the open air. And it was like, such a just beautiful moment and I loved it and it really like bonded us and then like it bonded me to country music because it bonded us and the memory and I love it so much so
Yeah, absolutely.
I I now every time I listen to country music it's mainly when I feel like it's getting warmer and I'm like yes it's time like I'm like it's time
Yeah,
it's
for
like
me, I feel like my country music, like when I'm like almost exclusively listening to country music, is like like late summer, early fall.
yeah
That's
yeah
like my main country music time. I'm listening to it a lot right now because I'm headed to Nashville on Wednesday. I'm headed to Tennessee for like a week, which I'm really excited about.
yep she'll be
Definitely not
3 hours away from me
yeah, and he's not gonna come see me, which I'm really sad about.
yeah I have a cheer competition so
No, always cheers what brought us together, but it's also what keeps us apart a lot.
block that tea like
A lot.
like
And I
oh it's
just miss
bad
him, guys. You don't understand. I just miss him.
and you know it's okay but
Like so.
yeah
But yeah,
yeah I think
I head to Nashville on Wednesday, so I'll already be back by the time that the episode airs, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, so Nashville, I've been to a bunch and I love it there so much. And then I'm headed to Knoxville actually for the first time ever.
oh
Which
wow
yeah, for the first time
that's
ever.
even closer to
I'm gonna
me
go
actually
to a University of Tennessee Vols game, which is really fun. So I'm excited. It's gonna be my first like, big Southern college game day.
period
I'm really excited. I'm gonna come back with like that little Southern twang that I get sometimes.
yes
Be like,
um
I'm gonna go back to my retail jobs and be like, "Hey y'all, happy holidays."
no literally and what's it called I've always said y'all, even in New York,
Hmm.
but um, I guess like the way I say it
You
now,
moved to Georgia and your y'all changed.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't know, I didn't know that I like started talking differently since I moved down here. Didn't even realize it
Right. No,
at
it
all. But my aunt, when I went back to New York, she was like, "Oh, you're all Southern now, huh?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "You've been down there a year, and now you got the Southern accent." I said, "Hold on, I was like, I do not have a Southern accent. You're crazy." But she's also from New York City, so she's
Oh.
like a New Yorker, like
Hmm.
that's how she talks. So like, there's big difference there. But.
I know. It's so funny because I feel like, I'm obviously not like living down there right now, but with the first time I went to Nashville in 2019, I came back to I went back to college and I had a sorority meeting. We had a chapter meeting and it was a Sunday night and I go back and they're like, "You have a Southern accent." I'm like, "What are y'all talking about?" No, I don't. And they're like, "Yes, you do." And then I don't remember what I said, but I like caught myself and I'm like, "Whoa, I was there for 48 hours. How did that happen?" And then
Literally,
like, whenever I'm in Tennessee, whenever I'm in Georgia, like whenever I come visit you, I always come back with it.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
"What in the world is going on?" And I feel
yeah.
like I feel like it annoys like my twin especially. Because we were like there was a time when, they live out of state now, but there was a time when obviously we were living in our childhood home and I came back from I don't know, either seeing you or something and they were like, "Can you stop?" I'm like, "Stop what?" Like I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh my gosh, that's
Even
so
right
funny.
now, just thinking about
Yeah,
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm screaming. That is, oh my god, that's so funny. But
And it just happens. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's when I started. Maybe it's because I started listening to country music. I don't know.
maybe,
Because
maybe,
if I listen to it enough, and
yeah,
then I'm also like in Georgia a lot, seeing you, and then I go to Tennessee every couple of years, like
yeah,
just the overall
yeah,
countrified.
yeah.
But yeah, to you, you mentioned specifically Luke Combs. I think that's another really cool tie-in connection that we're both impacted by him and his music, because that was actually Luke Combs had back-to-back sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden a couple years ago, and that was actually the first concerts that I ever worked. So those were
Oh
my
wow,
first live music events that I ever worked and were a part of as, kind of thinking of myself as an industry professional. And so
yeah,
I'll always remember that and it was at that show that his song Houston We've Got a Problem. Uh I heard that song for the first time live.
that song is so good.
It's so good. I was like, don't tell me that's the song that you were listening to in Grace's car.
Might be. It's something like that. It's
Okay,
off of
well,
that album for sure.
oh my God. I mean, yeah, that's like I love that album. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I know.
actually,
I think they're on the same
I
album, right?
think it. Oh yeah, I think that might have been the song because it's
I don't
like
even know what second song I just thought of when I said I think they're on the same album, but
um it was either that or
Beautiful Crazy.
Hurricane.
Oh, Hurricane.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But his song Beautiful Crazy, I love that one too.
Yes, I love that song.
That
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 was
was the one
definitely
that was the one that I was most excited to hear when I found out I was working his show. And
yeah.
then, obviously, yeah. I don't know, but you know, ugh, I love I love country music so much and I don't think anybody understands that. I mean, not that they don't understand it, but
Yeah.
like I love it a lot more than I let on in my day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think
There's
that
there's David Shay that I love so much. They were my first country concert ever.
yeah.
Yeah, I love them so much. And then obviously all like the female country stars like Carrie Underwood, early Taylor Swift, which I think we are gonna talk about eventually.
Yeah.
Shania Twain, Dolly Parton, I just ugh,
Love Dolly.
mm,
She's an icon. She's a
like
legend.
absolutely. And there are so many artists that I'm not even thinking of right. Oh, I mean, yes, I'm thinking of them, but
Yeah.
there are so many that I'm not even gonna be able to name all of them right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I just think it's so funny that this is a little not even a secret, but I don't really talk about country music as much in my like day-to-day life when I do
Yeah,
talk about music, but it is a genre that I love so much and has, honestly really shaped some of my favorite moments. Obviously, like I mentioned, my first ever show that I worked.
yeah,
Uh, and I think we've listened to a lot of country music together.
yeah. There
You know,
was the what's that
specifically,
one song?
oh, the Rascal Flatts song?
Yes,
Oh God, I like the sound of that.
yes. That
Mhm.
one I think of you all the time. Whenever I'm like listening to it, I'm like thinking like the little car ride, and we're like,
No, God, I'm
yep.
gonna cry again.
Oh my gosh. No, 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 no. Just kidding. I don't think of that ever.
No, you don't ever. No, no, I think of you a lot with that song too.
Yeah.
I don't know, and yeah, I think I don't know. I have not a lot else to say about country music, but I know, oh my God, no, the one song that I remember that we were at your nan's house
Yeah.
and it was your like going away party when you moved to Georgia.
Yeah.
And it was COVID times, but we were very safe. We hadn't seen each other since the pandemic started and like
Yeah.
even
I
before
hadn't
that.
seen anyone since the
No.
pandemic
And
started.
neither
Yeah.
had I. So this was like our first kind of like foray into the world.
Yeah, literally.
And
It
then
was like
also,
my hey and my goodbye
right, we
to
were
the
literally
world
just seeing each
that
other
I
to
knew.
say goodbye and that,
Yeah.
but we were headed back to your house that you were moving out of,
Yeah.
and we were listening to Tennessee Whiskey. That's the one that, and I remember I was beside myself.
That that song is one of the greatest love songs of all time.
Hmm.
Of all time.
No,
Um,
I like, oh my God, why am I not remembering the artist for this? I need to look this up.
Chris
But
Stapleton.
no, 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 no. I know.
Oh, I was like,
No, 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 no. There's another song that you said that was the greatest love song of all time.
uh-huh.
One of my favorite, 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 favorite country songs of all time is "In Case You Didn't Know" by Brett Young. I love that song
I'm
so
gonna add it
much.
right now to my playlist.
You have to.
What
Um,
what was it again?
"In Case You Didn't Know" by Brett Young.
In case you didn't know.
I
Oh my god, there's one by him that I really love too.
Okay, tell me.
Um, it's off of the same album as
Oh, I
that.
love that for us.
Uh, go to album. Where is it? Oh my god. Oh, like I loved you.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
so good, so good. That and Mercy. Mm,
Ooh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh God, I love it. See,
so
like,
good.
this is why, like nobody understands how much I actually love country music. Like, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm very excited, and what's even funnier? I have no plans, but the day that I get to Nashville on Wednesday, it's the CMAs.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so crazy. Are you gonna like watch him in a bar or something?
I hope so.
That
I,
would
I
be
have
so
a
fun.
couple. I have a couple friends I'm making plans to see. So I mean, TBD. We'll update.
Yeah.
We'll update.
But yeah, I think that also, like like you said, the most important connection um to that music that
Mhm.
you have is like the memories that you made with those songs. And that
Yeah.
draws you so much to your love for them and your love for country music in general. And I think that that for me is very similar to my favorite artist and why she means so much to me.
I wonder who you're about to say right now.
You know what, audience? I want you to guess. I want you to sit. I want you to, based off of all the episodes you've seen, I want you to take a guess at who Jared's favorite artist is.
Let us know in the comments. You can
Put
pause it
the
for like 2 seconds, make your guess in the comments, and then come back and see if you're right. So
right.
hold for 1 second. Okay.
So my favorite artist is Billie Eilish. What?
Shocker.
Oh my god!
Shocker.
Did you
I'm
guess
so
it?
shocked.
Did anybody guess it? Okay, so
I don't know.
I I I love Billie Eilish literally so
And I
much.
love that you love Billie Eilish.
I can't even describe the feelings that I have when I listen to her music, and the things that she has. gotten me through just in my life in general. Um, so I first discovered Billie Eilish, like most people did, through Ocean Eyes, and the Don't Smile at Me EP. It made me a fan of hers. I was like, oh my God, this girl's good. Love her. Period. I was like, oh my God, I just love this girl's music. Like she's like a really great singer, first of all, like just like in general. And then I was like,
Sorry, out of this world. Like,
insane. But more than that, I was like, the production's great. Like, just her songs make me feel something. And I was like, I just felt a connection instantly. So it was like, boom. And that is how I fell in love with Billie Eilish at first. But what made me like a mega fan was her debut album. um, when we all fall asleep, where do we go? That album is one of the greatest albums of literal all time. Um, the emotion, the artistry that she like, the story that she tells from start to finish is incredible. I genuinely, I don't know what could top it in my head. I want to say like her other albums, you know, top it, whatever. But like, just as an emotional connection for me, like nothing will ever top it, because it also just came at like the perfect time in my life. So um I was in like high school, and I was, discovering myself as like a young gay kid who had to go through all these like emotions and didn't really know what he was experiencing, and was just trying to make sense of it all, while like also the world was trying to tell him who he was. And it was like, but I don't know. And I just want to be like, okay, that's all I want. And I didn't feel okay. Um, or like I could be okay. And the album was what made me feel okay, and was what made me feel like no matter what I was, or what I was feeling, or what the future had to hold about whatever it was that I was going through, it that that album made me feel like it was gonna be fine. And I genuinely like that album. Not a lot of people, everybody says this, but genuinely that album saved my life. It was I bad day, Billie Eilish. Don't know what I'm doing, Billie Eilish. Like, it was it was my safe space. Like, when I felt like there was something that I needed that I couldn't tell anybody, I went I went and listened to the album, and I put it down in my journal. Like, it was that album was so astronomically important to me. And like I said, I don't cry in front of people. So I'm like trying not to, tear up here, but like
okay, baby, you can if
yeah,
you
but
need
I'm
to.
like, I literally can't even describe how much that album did for me, and how much it means to me. Um, but then it was after that, it was Happier Than Ever. That song, and well, not just song, but that whole album. Um, when it when that song came out, I was like, oh my God, that is a banger. That's a hit. Love it. And like the way it transitioned to like this like smooth, just like low, we're gonna chill, to like a bam, like pop hit. Like, and it was
Oh,
like, what was just so incredible. Um, that album got me through my first heartbreak. So, it's like literally Billie Eilish is there for all my firsts, basically. Like, I was literally like, not my first, but like just got me through all my like experiences in life. And like, she always, I don't know what it is, but she always just comes in at the perfect time. Like, I was just like, I don't know. So um literally, she put out her album about a week before my first breakup. Well, not first breakup, but like first real, like
great.
I was in love with this person, and
Yeah.
I was like distraught. I didn't know what to do. And that whole album felt like a warm hug. Like when, a lot of people are going to give you advice on a breakup,
Right.
but this was my first, like real boyfriend. And a lot of the people in my life that gave me a lot of advice had never gone through, a gay relationship. And um and I do think that there's just a big difference in that. So a lot of people gave me all this advice. They're like, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, you're gonna feel this is gonna happen, but it'll be okay. And if you know a breakup, nothing feels okay. So
The dogs agree.
the dogs know how much Billie Eilish means to me.
Yeah.
It just like warms my heart that they agree. And
It's just start being protective. She knows you're talking about your breakups and she's like, "Arr."
literally, that album was just, it got me through a really important time in my life. And that was when I first got to see her in concert. I had never been able to go before, whether it was a cheer event or money or whatever. I saved up from the announcement
Mhm.
until like a month before.
And I
And I
remember
bought,
I remember you getting that ticket and going. I was so excited for you.
I literally got, I got I got the ID. The idea in my head was to go with this boyfriend that
Oh my
that
God, I remember this.
that
I remember. Oh my God, I remember
had
this.
broken up with me for concert. So
That just
basically, what
like
had
came
happened
up
was,
from like the recesses of my brain.
yes, like if you don't know, well, if you don't know, no one knows the story that is
No.
watching this. So basically, her album came out a week
Mhm.
later. I got broken up with. So we're apart for like 3 months. We get back together, and and I'm like, oh my God, we should so go see the Billie Eilish concert. As if I'm about to spend $600 on tickets for us. And like we were we were just broken up. And I'm about to spend
Right.
$600 because I'm crazy and I don't know when to stop my feelings for someone.
Mm,
So I
felt
so
that.
I'm like, that makes sense in my brain, right? Like spend six hundred
Right.
dollars because if we have concert tickets, then like he can't break up with you again, right? No, no, that's not how it works, baby. So
Maybe
literally,
that's
that's
not how this.
also not what I thought. But like I was like, oh my God, like we have something to look forward to. Like it's gonna be so cute. And
Oh,
then I bought the tickets, and about a month later, we break up again. And he's like, no, like this is for real this time. Like we're done.
right.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was left crying. Oh my God. Not to get into our breakup story, but I was left crying at his university, and he told me to go home instead of.
I do. I do remember this. Oh my God.
Yeah, you need to go home. And I was like,
And
I
it was
think it
like
was,
it was
it
like
was,
not like daytime either, right? It was like
no, it was daytime.
oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
it was traffic hour. So he made me go
Right.
sit in traffic for 3 hours. I drove 2 hours to go surprise this man. He said, you got to go home because I don't like you coming up here and surprising me. Like, I don't like it to be a surprise. And I was like, well, we already had plans. It's
Right.
just earlier
Mm.
than what we
Yeah,
planned.
that's you know what? We are not the Gin and Toxic podcast, but that's giving.
Is giving, right?
That's
But I
it.
literally, like, I was like, but I literally was like, oh, okay. And he was like, no, you got to go home. And I was like, oh. And I was like, but I have like flowers for you, like for our anniversary. And he was like,
Star
oh.
is getting
And I
protective.
and I'm bawling. I'm bawling my eyes out. Literally bawling. I'm like, why? Like, please, like I have this stuff for our anniversary, like, and you're just gonna send me home. And he was like, okay, well, no, don't go home like this. Like you're literally crying. That's not safe. Like I want you to be safe, but no, you can't come up to my dorm. What? What do you mean? But yeah, so basically Billie Eilish got me through
So
that.
basically, you dodged a bullet, and
Correct. Because and I if you want the realty, I was still talking to him until like 2 months ago.
Jared!
And this breakup was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember it being 3 years ago. Jared.
We were like on and off talking since then. Not like talking, but
Oh, yeah.
like as friends, like talking.
Mhm.
Until I realized like why would I want to talk to
Right. Right.
him?
Right. Anyway,
But
Billie
literally, yes,
Eilish.
that's Billie Eilish got me through that breakup. I touched Billie Eilish's hand. So Billie Eilish, if you're watching this and you felt a sweaty hand of a 19-year-old boy that was definitely crying as he touched your hand, that was me. And if you aren't watching this, watch it, please. I want to meet you. Please, please come on this podcast. Please, please.
If anybody from her team or Universal Music Group sees this, hey, 1824 fam, hit us up.
Right. If 1824 wants to reach out to Billie Eilish, that would be appreciated. If Billie Eilish wants to reach out to me, my number is bleep 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 bleep, and my Instagram is JAREDSEDAA. So period. But no, for real, she got me through so much, like I said. And then now I am. This past summer, I was I got like unfortunate news about the progression of my degree. Um, and it just wasn't going to be completed as planned. I wanted to get an education degree, um, and it just wasn't going to work out to be done in this year. So I had to take an extra year, and they were like, "You have to," and I was like, "Well, I'm already behind on like my years in college because I took too long to figure out what I want to do, and now I found it, and now you're telling me like I can't." And it made me really upset. And it made me feel like
We've had many, many discussions about
yeah,
this.
yeah, it just made me feel like my life isn't on the track that I want it to be. Like I feel
That's
already
completely valid. Oh my
and
God.
and I just felt like I was already behind. Although I know like I'm 23, like I'm not, like I'm not. I
Yeah, but
shouldn't
that
be in
means
any
you're almost
rush,
25, and that means that you're almost 30, and life
right?
is
Which means I need a
so,
job. So like, like right, like that means I need a job, right? So I'm like,
bro, we're not gonna talk about golf.
so I'm like, oh my god, I'm stressed.
Anyway, so
But
yeah,
yeah, so I was like, I'm stressed. Like I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to get that path. Like I wanted that to be my path. I wanted, but now I have to find a new one, and I have to find or just a different way to navigate that path to get there. Or, maybe I just try something new entirely. Maybe this is a sign that I don't do this. Maybe this is just like a reason to go do what I want. Maybe this is a reason to all this stuff. So,
right.
and I was like so stressed, and I just didn't know. And then boom, she's like, "Hey, I'm coming out with Hit Me Hard and Soft, like in this amount of time." And I was like, "Hey." I was like, I needed this. And then she put it out the night that I got this tattoo right here. She
Okay,
put it out the
what?
night that I scheduled this. And this is for my late aunt, who was like a second mom to me, and
I
literally,
love Carolina.
yeah, she shaped
She
my
was like
life.
the third grandmother that I
Literally,
like
she
that
shaped
woman. Oh, what a woman.
what
What a
what
woman.
a what a woman. And
I
she
miss
shaped
her
my
so
life entirely as a whole, just like in so many ways that I can't even describe. I definitely don't want to get into because I
yeah.
will
Yeah.
ball.
I will
So
too. I'm already, yeah.
but yeah, that's what this tattoo was for. And it just happened that her album came out on the night that I scheduled to get this for her. And it was it was like another moment of like, you're gonna be okay. Like
Yeah.
it all just felt like you're okay. This is life will give you a path, follow it however it may come. And I was like, okay. I was like, it's gonna be okay. And
I think you were
the
doing
weeks
a
after,
bang up job.
yeah, the weeks after, I came up with a plan, and here we are. So that is, I know I definitely did. I took a lot of time on Billie
Oh my
Eilish,
God. No,
but
like that's
that
literally
is,
what this episode is about.
yeah, like that is like Billie Eilish is the artist of my life. Like she is the artist that has I like she makes me feel every emotion possible
Yeah.
through her songs and
And
her art.
we will get
So
her on this podcast. Mark our words. Somebody take a
she
screen recording of
she
this right now.
of
We will get
our
Billie Eilish on this podcast if it is like one of the last things we do
we
because
will, and I will get to
I
tell
think that there
her
is so much that you not only that you want to say to her, but there's just like so much we can pick her brain about. Like
I need to like I need to know what like you
literally,
know I
there obviously she means like just the most to you, which means like that makes her mean so much to me. But her songs have different meanings to me too. Like obviously the song that she wrote for the Barbie movie, What Was I Made For? Um,
yeah
I love that song so much. Like I have very much relied on that song, you
yeah
know, in times when I haven't known what I was going to do, whether it be career or if I did know what I was doing and it was a very like transformative moment. That song has definitely gotten me through a lot, especially linked to the Barbie movie and all like the femininity of it.
yeah
Um, and then also her song I Love You is a song that I've put on many, many playlists of mine.
yeah
Many, many, many playlists.
me too.
Which, kind of brings me to my next point of the impact of making a playlist and, creating a collection of songs and curating, just a mood, a theme, a vibe. Like making playlists is what started my project that was originally Sarah's set list and I really enjoyed that. And I know I've said it before, but making those playlists, knowing that one day this whole set list concept would be something bigger, and then, obviously with it becoming this digital media brand that we're building and this content group, I guess with the team that we have writers and photographers and people who are creating video content for us for Reels and TikToks and all this fun stuff. They're taking us to concerts with them and writing reviews and, speaking to artists and just everything that I could have ever dreamed that this would be at this point is happening. And that's a really cool thing to think of. It all just starting with me doing something that I already really loved, which was
Yeah
building playlists. And we're going to be implementing more of that original concept into our content coming up. Um, but I just have never even dreamed of what we would have accomplished in the past few years. And
yeah
obviously, going into 2025, it's just I don't want to say that I'm lost for words but there are so many words that I could say about what this process has meant to me and what we're building has meant,
yeah
obviously here with the podcast, how it integrates into our main channels, like
yeah
it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna before I go off on a tangent, we are bringing a member of our team onto
hmm
the show. So her name is Neven, and we're really excited to have her. So in the next little segment of the podcast, you guys are gonna get to meet Neven.
yes
We are so excited to introduce you to our girl Neven. Hey Neven, what's up?
Hi!
Welcome
I'm
to
so
the
happy to
guest.
be here.
We're so happy to have you. Okay, so as you guys know, our episode this month is talking about taking a deep dive into the music that has shaped us, and we thought that because our girl Nevin loves research so much, we thought we would have her give a deep dive on the history of pop music. So, Nevin, take it away, girl.
Okay, so pop music there's not really a time in history where it started. It's something that's always been around, but kind of hidden. Like, there was very clear, like, genres like rock, obviously, like, and that started with Elvis. Way, like, back in the 50s, he was, I mean, we all know the king. Elvis with the pelvis, as they called him, which I think is so funny. Um, but I mean, it started I want to say the main rise of it was towards the end of the 70s and into the 80s. It kind of started with like disco. I mean, like there are subgenres of pop just like there are subgenres of every other music. I mean, it's just like everything else, there's nuance to it. It really started to take a rise in the early 80s, late 70s, when you had people like Bowie and Prince and artists like that. And I mean, speaking of David Bowie, he really changed music as an entirety, like more than just music. He's one of the people that created art. I mean, obviously everybody knows Ziggy Stardust. How could you not? If you didn't, that would be really sad and you're missing out. Um, but no, definitely like David Bowie and Prince are probably, or the artist formerly known as Prince, um, definitely the fathers, if you will, of pop music. It started to become more popular and more of this like very like back to back kind of um, more well known genre in the early 2000s when you had icons like Britney Spears and Destiny's Child and the Spice Girls. Um, so, I mean, there are so many people that have contributed to this genre and what it's at now. And there's different types of pop music. Like there's pop country, there's pop rock, like there's pop folk. I mean, look at Noah Kahan. Someone like Hosier, Lizzie McAlpine. I mean, they fit into that genre as well. And I think every day, like more and more artists are taking this genre that a lot of people would coin as like upbeat or girly and annoying and turning it into something that means so much more to the artists themselves and like people like us who love their music and listen to it. I mean, Beyonce, she did incredible things for every genre of music to ever exist. I mean, she is like the pioneer of music. I mean, today, like over the past few years. And there's a lot that there's so much that goes into pop as like in and of itself because it's like I said there's nuance with it. There's no like yellow brick road, if you will. Um it's not some straight path. It's just art. I mean, it's all like really beautiful and then I think everyone has their own take on it and I think that's really cute and I love it.
Oh, that's awesome, Nev. I know that when I was in college, I took a couple history of music classes and, you know, Elvis, Bowie, those were all names that came up in those classes. We even had a class where we talked about boy bands, so obviously that was my favorite lesson. Um, I think I even
Well,
took
yeah.
those classes, Jared, when I was basically living with you during COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember?
Oh yeah, I remember those lectures on my couch and
Oh my God.
all
Yeah.
good things.
No, but definitely all of that is exactly where music is today. So, I think it's really cool that you know all of this. Have you taken classes or has these topics just always kind of interested you?
Um I've always loved to research things and like I love like I'll have a question pop into my head and I'll go and research it and I'll end up down a rabbit hole like hours later and I learn way more than any human needs to know about one topic. Um I actually used to take my dad's old like textbooks that he used when he taught in the military and I would just read them for fun. So I mean, it's always like that stuff would always interest me. Um, I had a really high reading level when I think I was a 12th grade reading level when I was in 4th grade. So I just love like soaking everything up. Like I love listening to people and the things that interest them and it interests me. I just love it.
That's awesome.
I also really love that you love so much of this, but I think one of the best points that you made was that, at least nowadays, it really is turning, like, pop is turning more away from this, like, oh, let's just make a catchy tune and it'll blow up. And now it's more like, hey, let's make a meaningful song that's still catchy. And it's like, it's it's you could feel like the emotion now more, I feel like. And at least, I mean, I don't know what the research says about this, but I think that it went from like, I go back and I listen all the time to pop music that was popular when I was in like middle school, and I still love it and it's still amazing, and I still, I still feel great when I listen to it and I'm jamming. But I like actually think about the lyrics and I'm like, okay, awesome, woo. But I listen to my music nowadays, which is still mostly pop. Like, I listen to Billie Eilish, which could definitely be a little more alternative, but she definitely has some pop hits in there. I listen to a lot of Ariana Grande, and there's just so much of it that means so much more than what we used to experience as a pop genre. So I think that it's great that it's getting there, and I really love what everybody's doing with it now. So,
I mean, I think another great example of that was definitely be Taylor Swift. Like,
yeah,
she has some of the craziest songs, but if you look at the lyrics, you're like, oh, damn, that's,
yeah,
wow, that's deep.
yeah. Like, I know the smallest man who ever lived is like blowing up right now,
Mhm.
and that was my favorite song off of the Tortured Poets Department, and like, it's catchy for sure. Like, the clips that
Yeah,
are getting posted on TikTok and going viral and everything, they're catchy tunes, they're catchy lyrics, and it's like everybody wants to sing. But when you take like a deep dive and you analyze what she's saying there, I mean, even the title alone, "The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived," is so poetic and has such a deep meaning in and of itself.
Mhm.
So I I do think she's great, and I think that she is really exploring more about the meaning too. Because if you look at, I mean, her first album too, back to Taylor Swift, her self-titled, she,
yeah.
I loved Love Story and all that good jazz. Loved it. But it was like mostly just catchy tune, catchy lyrics, and it was like, woo, Romeo take me somewhere we could be alone, you know? And like, it was cute and I loved it. But now, like, if you compare that to, her hits now, it's like, she, there's so much more emotion, there's so much more meaning, there's so much to explore in the songs, which I think I love. So
I
Yeah.
know, I could spend hours picking apart her music. It's so bad.
yes.
There's a reason why we talk about her in basically every single episode of this podcast
Yeah,
because
everything goes back to Taylor Swift somehow. And
literally,
She's incredible.
I
she
know.
Like,
I
she's,
I think it's turning into less and less of a joke when people say that Taylor Swift is the music industry. And I'm just gonna put that out there and that
yes,
statement as what it is.
I
I
agree with
agree.
you.
I
Because
I agree.
as
think
someone
about
who's not
Grammy
even,
nominations for Best New Artist. How many of those Best New Artist nominations were openers on the Eras tour over the past 2 years? I think it
I
was
know.
them, right?
like,
I mean, look at Sabrina Carpenter. Like, good for her. And Gracie Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
I
yeah,
watching.
yes,
I saw Abrams on tour this past tour for The Secret of Us, and seeing the amount of people that like knew every word was so cool.
yeah,
Like going from last tour to just this tour, like great for them. Really good for them, especially Sabrina, because Sabrina has been putting out hits for years, and
Years.
I'm so glad that people are finally
that,
realizing that, because she has been hit after hit after hit, and
yeah,
nobody recognized it
she
until
is she is
this
a
past
pop
year.
icon. I think she is a pop icon, and the fact that she's been turning out hits, whether the people realize they're hits or not, but so many of the times people literally listen to the music, they love it, they scream it, they play it on their radio, but they didn't even realize it was Sabrina Carpenter until like recently. Is crazy to me.
I know.
So like, yeah.
When did Thumbs come out? That song was everywhere.
Oh my, that song was
Skin and
everywhere.
Thumbs. Those two songs blew up and nobody knew who it was.
I remember back to like Why. Why is one of my favorite songs by her in general.
To me, everyone knew that. They didn't know it was Sabrina.
No, I actually, confession, I didn't even know it was Sabrina for the longest time. Like, until about when emails came out, I was like, I went back and I was like, oh my God, what's that one song? Like, oh my, it's like Sue Me for Looking So Pretty. And I was like, I want to listen to it. And then someone was like, oh, by Sabrina Carpenter. And I was like, huh? So, like, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it too. But, like, I also recognize how many hits that I did listen to and I knew were Sabrina, but so many people didn't even realize. And now it's like, she's a pop icon. And I'm like, finally, you're realizing it. Like, when emails came out, I was obsessed. And, like, people are acting like she's new. I mean, I know she's in Best New Artist. I know that. And I know that that category has more to do than just, like, years in the music industry. But, like, she's not new in the sense of years being in the industry. And in my opinion, she's not even new in popularity. She's just new in, I think, recognition, which I think is
like the mainstream.
Yes. And like she's making a name for herself rather than just her music, which I think is great for her.
Yeah. And
yes,
you know,
he has such the to be a pop star.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to cut you.
No, you're so fine, babe. I was just gonna kind of tie it back to like, you know, she is from a long line of Disney darlings that have really broken into the mainstream pop era. And
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yes.
just the growth there is
Yeah. I mean, even people who are, you know, were the Disney pop girlies or just Disney girls, like in general, and they would come out with like a song. And it was like, oh, that's a hit. That is a hit. Even if they didn't like make their music career last, they were still a part of making a hit for us.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, Selena Gomez, she had a pretty successful music career in general, but
Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya. Oh my God, Replay.
Replay by Zendaya.
Listen to Replay,
guys. I met Zendaya when I was little, and it was like right after Replay came out. That changed my life. Changed the trajectory of my life.
As it should.
Like
I would have died. Like, full stop.
The picture of little me is so funny. You can tell that she's just like cheesing. She's never been more excited in her life.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah.
So cute.
I was just gonna say, I mean, like, I really feel like real pop stars are back. Like Tate McRae, Sabrina Carpenter, like these girls who are like putting like on theatrical performances for their tours. I mean, I think now is a great time to talk about it because like they're back. They're real. Yeah. Like Britney Spears, she paved the way, and these girls are walking on it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Neven, I know that you just mentioned kind of like all the pop girlies. Was there anybody else that you wanted to talk about today? You know, kind of sharing your own stories about the artists and the albums and whoever else and whatever other songs or projects kind of shaped who you are and the music lover and the fan that you are.
Everything definitely started when this band that I know that you know very well, they came together. They're Why Don't We?
Who's that?
Why Don't We?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I definitely don't know what
not
that
a clue.
Never heard of them.
They were like genuinely such a big part of my life, especially younger me. I was like, oh my God, how old was I? I was like 12, I think, when they first formed as a group. And I was a weird kid. I won't even like sugarcoat it. I was weird. I kept to myself, and I had just gone from being in Catholic school to public school for the first time since second grade. So I was like really trying to come back into that whole like public school, like these kids are like, they aren't like disciplined every day, and like I'm really way ahead of them, and that gap in my education makes me seem smart, but the weird kind of smart that everyone hated. And I would go online every day after school and I would watch their little videos, like when they posted those like smooth step videos. and all that. Like I like my favorite, and I had gotten put into this group chat for everyone that was going to the New York show in April at PlayStation Theater. It's no longer PlayStation Theater in New York. I do not know the name of it now, but it's not PlayStation Theater anymore.
I can't think of it. We're both from like New York, New Jersey, so the fact that we don't know that is
I know. I'm like I
crushing.
literally have I was over there in March and I saw it. Can't remember the name of it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Like,
Not a clue.
We'll figure it out.
But
We'll do some research.
I'll do my research. I got you guys. Don't even worry. Don't fret. I got you. But I had gotten put into this group chat, and I remember the name of it. It was "Why Don't We Get Gold?" And we all thought it was the funniest group chat name. But I had really, really clicked with this girl named Mia, and we would talk like on the side separately from the group chat. And the closer the day got, the more excited we were to finally meet each other for the first time. And it was the first time I had genuinely felt that close with somebody since I had left Catholic school. And like I was I was really badly bullied in Catholic school, and so making friends was like really scary for me because they all started out as my friends and then they weren't. And I mean that definitely it was really really scary for a 12-year-old. And I I vividly remember, like I can close my eyes and it's like clear as day. We pulled up outside PlayStation Theater and I saw Mia standing across the road. I didn't even care that there was oncoming traffic. I booked it across the street and I ran and I hugged her. And it was like it was so nice to finally have this person that got me and who didn't care that I was like weirdly smart because she was weirdly smart, and we both loved the same thing, and it was as important to us as it was to the other person. And we have talked every single day ever since then. We're both almost 20. Um, and she is my favorite person in the whole world. And I owe it all to Why Don't We? And I truly I would never have met her otherwise. I live in Virginia and she lives up in Connecticut. And we do our best to see each other at least once a year. And it is my favorite time of year when I get to see her. But yeah, she's my best friend and I love her.
I'm literally crying. That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. And obviously, you know that hits home for me, and Jared as well, because the two of us are besties and we've, known each other as pretty much as long as you and me have known each other, which
yeah,
is crazy. And, obviously, you and I also met indirectly through
yeah,
I don't we?
No.
If y'all didn't know, Nevin and I met at one of Jonah's shows on the Young and Optimistic tour, which is almost over, which is really
I
weird.
know.
But that's where we met, and that's where Nevin learned about Setlist, and that's why she's here today, which is really cool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess while you're here, I'll ask you, as a member of our team, has Setlist and like what you've experienced here so far impacted your relationship with music at all?
Definitely. I mean, and again, it circles back to Why Don't We? They were part of the reason I wanted to get into the music industry and do all this. And I think that meeting you at Jonah's show was really just like, I really don't like to use the word fate, but there's no other way to explain that. I mean, they have given me like they gave me you, which is like really awesome, and you've like you and Setlist have like created this dream for me that I never thought was tangible, and it's just made my relationship with music and like everything that I get to do for you guys just so much stronger. Like I appreciate music and the music industry like so much more, and the things that music can do for people.
Well, that makes me very happy. We're so grateful to have you. Like we're so lucky. Our entire team that we just recruited a new class into has really just gone above and beyond my wildest dreams. Um, so hearing you say that kind of just means everything.
Aw. I'm so happy to have this like experience. I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. There's no way.
Guys, I'm gonna go cry now. So a lot on this podcast, apparently. So
Yeah.
I do it off the
Okay,
podcast.
I
Jared,
can
They're just cries, you know, it's okay. But
I
yeah,
know, yeah,
okay.
you're the water sign over here, so I don't know how that happened.
I I just cry on my own time. That's it. I can't cry in front of people. I don't know what it is. I'm
No
like,
matter how hard I try.
no, literally. Like
I'll
Sarah
cry.
already said, I think that we have an amazing team, and I think that the people who have joined and just help us make what we do possible is just so incredible to watch. And I'm mainly part of TGL, but I see all the set list stuff go on, and I'm grateful for every single person, and I'm grateful for everyone, especially Sarah, obviously, because she created this whole thing. I mean, where would we be without the creator? You know, I would my one of my dreams or like hopes in life, I guess, was like, oh my God, I want to start a podcast. Like I want to do that so bad. And she made that come true. So like here I am, you know? And I think that I I didn't even realize, I guess, how much I was in love with music until I started talking about it so often and almost, you know, I'm required to come up with stories about why it's so meaningful to me. And I mean, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because I think it showed me all the different ways that I connect with music. And it showed me the deeper parts of myself that I explore through music that I didn't even realize that I do until I just started talking about it. And I'm like, wait, I do that. And I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. So yeah, I love it all. And I think that this is an amazing experience. And I think that anybody who it already is or maybe will be in the future be a part of this team should also just be so grateful and never take it for granted because it's really an awesome thing that we have going here. So not to add to the tears, but
Hey.
tears are being shed on the podcast. Is this the
They
first
are.
time?
The episode is actually just Sarah sobs.
No, the one where Sarah. Let's talk crying is actually the new name of the episode. So
Oh, I actually can't do this, guys.
Aw,
Just like this whole
I love you.
I love you so much. Oh God, let me try and pull myself together and say something like
get
meaningful.
yourself together. I'm like, what's Edna mode? I'm like, pull yourself together. That's literally our friendship is me like telling Sarah to get it together.
I
actually,
cry and
so,
he's like, pull yourself together, girl.
like literally.
Yeah, no, oh gosh, let me say something because I know that I've spoken a little bit about how my love of curating playlists turned into Setlist, the original Sarah's Setlist project, and now it's Setlist Media and what it is. I just, we've witnessed a lot of growth recently, which is amazing, and just already what we've accomplished has been beyond my wildest dreams. And I think a lot of people know, if you don't know, now you know, I recently stopped applying for industry jobs to kind of focus on curating Setlist into a legitimate business and, building that into hopefully a future empire in the music industry. So that's been a really big step for me in the later part of this year, and I'm really excited about it. And I love our team so much. And, especially Jared said he's focused mainly on the podcast right now. We will get you on the main page yet, my friend.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Just let
you
me
know,
graduate or whatever.
yeah, you need to graduate first, as we said last episode.
Oh
Um,
my god.
it's okay. It's coming really soon. But yeah, basically just, gonna try to get through this without any more tears. Um, but yeah, I'm so grateful for everybody who is a part of Setlist, whether they are currently a little less active and doing other really cool industry opportunities, or if they are consistently turning in content for us and like, reaching out to artists. We've appointed a few of our team members to their official roles and titles and tasks, which is really, really cool. So it's really amazing to see everybody starting to collaborate and seeing everything come together kind of on an operational side. And it's going to really help me in the new year as I, again, you know, start licensing and trademarking a bunch of our stuff, which is really exciting. And I'm just very, very grateful for everything that is coming our way. And I'm excited to continue to build with our whole team, including the both of you. And yeah, I think that's all I can say without starting to cry again. So
Love it.
maybe if you have anything else that you would like to say or, want to let everybody know where they can find you when you are not doing content for us, feel free to tell everybody. Or, if you have anything else that you want to add to our conversation points from before, now's your time. The floor is yours.
When I'm not doing content, I love reading. And I think I'm actually currently reading a book that ties into me being a guest on the podcast so well. It's called
Okay,
Truly Madly Deeply, and they meet on a podcast. Enemies to
Hear you.
Lovers, Truly Madly Deeply. Oh, it's so good. It's
The
so
best
good so
trope.
far.
The best trope is enemies to lovers.
Thank you. Look at this, is so cute. I have it
That
right
is
here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. I've literally
I love
actually
it.
I also love reading. If you didn't know,
yeah,
I
guys,
have
if you didn't know, Jared has a bookstagram.
yeah. If you didn't know,
We haven't mentioned it every episode this season.
okay, don't call me out. Okay, it's
I'm
Jared.
not. We still have to make those posts that we're going to collaborate on.
It's Jared Reads, JaredReads. But no, for real, like I do run a bookstagram, but that wasn't even what I was gonna say. But I
You
love
just had
reading
your
too,
plug.
and I literally have discovered, well, now three, but two books in like the span of like 2 weeks that like talk about podcasts. And like the podcast one was about like falling in love, and they were like, oh, like we talk about their meet cutes and da, 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 or whatever. And then the other was like she like called into a podcast and like talked about her ex, and then it like made somebody else fall in love with her, and it was so cute. And I was like, the main idea is a podcast, like that's so cute. But yeah,
That is very cute.
Oh, it's for his like he goes on to like his sister's podcast, and he's a divorce lawyer, but truly is a romance novelist.
Oh
And
my.
so it's like they oh, it's so cute. It's so cute.
We love cutesy stuff.
Enemies to Lovers.
My TBR is growing by the episode. Just so y'all know. I love how we've just diverged into wider topics.
I know. I'm like, this is a music podcast, so sorry
I know.
we're going on a book
I know.
tangent,
It's almost
but
like you would need like a separate podcast for that or
I
something.
know. I feel like someone needs to like just talk about books and the things that we can do with books and writing, and
I'm sure there are a lot of random
I'm
facts.
sure someone will do it one day.
Yeah, someday, maybe. Maybe after they graduate or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, without saying anything further about insinuating anything.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, forget that happened. Nothing's coming next year.
What?
Nothing.
What can we possibly be talking about?
What's coming?
Nothing.
Right.
Well, I think it is time that we get back on topic. So, Neven,
Yes.
my love, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for
Back
being
in the
here.
future, because I know you've got a lot going on, outside of what you do for us, and so we would love to have you back on to talk about all that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Yay! All right, my love. We will see you very soon, obviously, doing team stuff. And yeah, guys, make sure that you comment below and tell Neven how much you love her. She's amazing. And our whole team,
So good.
really, truly fantastic. I know we've talked a bit about just the process of building set lists and how just that impact has been really wonderful.
Yeah.
Me trying not to cry again, but yeah, it's just been
Literally.
really
Yeah.
wonderful. And
I think that just being a part of this, even though this isn't even my brand, so I can't even imagine what it means to you.
I mean, you've been here, like
Oh yeah, but I mean, this is your creation and your
a
idea and
baby.
your right, exactly. This is yours at the end of the day, even though I was always here to help and I always will
You
be,
you
but
have always been here, and from the day that we relaunched it, you were like, "This sounds so cool. I want
yeah,
to be a part of it." And then we had a long phone call about like
yeah,
just what you wanted your involvement to be, and
yeah,
you were like, "This is something that I could, with the social media or whatever." You were like, "This is
yeah,
something that I could see like building into like a forever kind of thing," and I was like,
yeah,
"Yeah."
yeah. And I think that it just shows like,
Lucky that you like support me in this way and like, have been so excited about everything that we're doing and specifically with the podcast because obviously we mentioned you haven't quite made your way over to the main page yet, but we will get you there yet. But
yes,
typically with getting to do the podcast together and just
yeah,
talking about my favorite thing in the world, which is music, with
yeah.
truly, as you know, I've told you so many times, you are my favorite person in the world. And Star agrees.
Star,
Getting
Star disagrees with so much today.
to, just getting to do this with you and building our relationship through music, like off the cheer mat is you muted, didn't you? It's okay, guys. The dogs are just agreeing with me. So I'll ramble for a minute. Just because as I mentioned earlier in the episode, on the day we're filming this, Jared's birthday is in 3 hours as I look at my non-existent watch. Get back here. I want to talk about you. Um, and I don't know. I Obviously, you will get your traditional birthday text, but I didn't know if I was going to share any of this, but I wrote a little something. And I don't know, just like getting to sit down and talk about my favorite thing in the world with you being my favorite person is such a gift. And like, the fact that we get to do this every single month and, a lot of the stuff I cut out, just us laughing are like just there's probably, I don't know, hours of us just cracking
I
up.
I
And
can't even imagine how long there is
I
of that.
we'll put it all in a compilation someday. But just like the tears that stream down my face in a laughing matter, like not just the ones that I've actually cried today, like you know, and on top of that, there are just so many conversations we've had that are in this like raw footage about just our dreams and our goals and our aspirations for the future of this podcast and everything else. And, as I mentioned, you've been so supportive of me just building Setlist, and you've always been that way, just one of my biggest supporters. And I am truly just so lucky to have you. And there's some like this is long, and I'm probably gonna put some of this in your actual text that you're gonna get in a few hours. So I don't know. I'll just like, I've really enjoyed just watching you grow with the podcast and grow as a person because, I've seen you do quite a bit of that. You're very tall now. But I don't know, like your view on the world is just something that I treasure every time that we have a chance to really sit down and have a full conversation and just like share our insights on the world. And the fact that you bring that to our podcast is something that I cherish so much. And I'm so grateful that you've found the time to do this with me, because you have a busy schedule. Like, and we've talked about it on the podcast before, we've talked about it off. And although I might text you a lot with questions and reminders and all this stuff, at the end of the day, you have always pulled through for me here in life. So I'm just a very, very lucky girl to call you my co-host and my best friend, and I love you unquantifiable amounts. And if anybody ever says that nobody likes you when they're 23, when it comes to you, they haven't met me. So happy birthday, Bubba. I hope
Oh
that you
my God.
have so much fun tonight because this man is going out as soon as we end this episode. But it's okay because he's 23.
Just air me out like that. Like what? But no, literally, I
On
am.
on that note.
I mean, I am. So period.
Yeah,
But
because you
literally,
have to get ready. We pushed our filming time up a half an hour, and we're
and we're
still at
8 minutes
the original
late.
time that we said we were gonna end.
And we're 8 minutes late. Like,
I mean, it's on brand.
and hey, extra content. So period. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, no, I totally agree with everything that you said
Yeah, of course
about
you do, because I
us.
just raved about you for 5 minutes.
I said about us, and I also, you know what? I also agree that I'm amazing, and I think that
You
I
are.
no, I'm just
So,
I'm just
no,
kidding.
you are.
I'm
And
just
I
kidding.
tell every single person that I meet, I never shut up about you. You
I
know
mean,
that.
I'm confident, but I mean, I think that it all just shows how much music shaped not just our friendship, but like the friendships of everybody. I mean, we heard like just 5 minutes ago, literally, Neven was telling us about she met her best friend in the whole world, her favorite person that she's ever met through music. And I think that it shows that music puts out this message and it connects people who can relate to that message, who agree with that message, and who want to be a part of that. And now more than ever, we need our message to be
We
heard.
need to be unified. And
We
that
need, yes, we need to come together and we need to share a message of hope, share a message of love, and share a
music
message
has
of just it's I think that it's really important. And I think that what we do is important. Um, and whether there's two people watching us or 2 million in the
hopefully one day
future,
that would be really cool.
I think that there is such an important thing about music that needs to be heard. And I think that the fact that we're able to dive deep into that means the world to me. And I think that doing it with you is even better. So
I love
I
you so
love I
much.
love you just as much as you love me, and um
I'm gonna
I'm
cry.
just so happy that I'm just so happy that we made this podcast.
I
And
know. You know,
uh
it
it's
took it
November,
took a
so
minute.
it's November, so it's my
It's the
birthday.
season of
So
being grateful, and that's why I'm wearing my plaid cardigan.
right, it's my birthday and it's the season of being grateful.
Happy
So
fall, y'all.
and it's fall. Oh my god, yes. But so yeah, I think that anybody that wants to, talk about music in the way that it moves us and the way that we can all connect to the world, to our inner selves, to the people around us, I think that you are welcome here, and you have a
Absolutely.
space here, you have a safe space here, and you are wanted and loved here. So come join us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, or I mean, if you just want to watch two best friends of over a decade yap
In
about
chaos.
really music or anything else, because at this point we do
Two
that
best
quite a
friends.
lot. Come on over, join the TGL squad. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to be able to have the opportunity to talk about music and just everything that music has brought into my life. So in this season of gratefulness, that is my 2 cents. But yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking with us and watching another episode of The Guest List. This one was really great. I think this is going to be one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah. And y'all don't know this, but literally Sarah was like, this episode might not be our best.
No,
We were
literally.
preparing for it to
I
be
will I will be so transparent. I was not in a great headspace when we started this episode. And
and
literally,
I think this is definitely my favorite one that we've done yet. So I mean,
yeah, this is gonna be top for sure. Like probably top two. Just so I'm not like promoting my just so I'm not like,
yeah,
misleading. And in
yeah,
case I
yeah,
need to go back and like, because what I don't even know what my favorite episode is right now.
yeah.
Like, but this is gonna be top for sure. All right, before we go off on another tangent, making this episode a whole nother half hour long. We're gonna send Jared off on his birthday celebrations. But if you want to see more content from us, make sure to follow our podcast page on Instagram, which is at TGL Pod. And if you want to see all of the other content that we're putting out for Setlist Media as a whole, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X at Setlist Media. Thank you so much for tuning in both here on Spotify and YouTube. If you guys have not already, you can follow the podcast on Spotify and you can subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you leave a like and some comments as we would love to hear from you.
See you next month for our second annual TGL holiday special. We'll be seeing you early to bring you the holliest and jolliest TGL Tuesday of them all on December 24th.
Bye guys, we'll see you real soon.